Hey, it's Brian at 360 Politics. Thank you very much for joining. Today we're taking a look at the Postal Service. Let's go ahead and jump right into some of the issues facing the post office with a Senate hearing from Senator Hawley from Missouri and DeJoy from the Post Service.
Dispute the fact that 68% of their single piece first class mail is going to get downgraded. You just told me that it would. It get downgraded. And listen, I think I understand you. You're trying to cut costs. I'm just telling you. I understand your position, Mr. DeJoy, but I need you to understand mine. I represent a state that's majority rural. 754 of my 950 and my 926 post offices are going to experience additional delays. This is on top of the fact that in the Kansas-Missouri district, you're hitting a 72% on-time delivery standard that's well beneath your own target. I mean, I'm just telling you that in my state, they're very frustrated. And when you have, the Farm Bureau represents 157,000 Missouri farm families, and they look at your plan and they say, what in the world? We're going to get the shaft here, just to be honest with you. I'm just telling you the facts. This is how, in my state, this is how it seems.
So I think the alternatives are that we get some significant government funding.
So, we know from this interview that the post office has an uphill battle. There's a couple of things going on there. One of them is violence against postal workers. They're seeing this happen more and more. Robberies, which I think is absolutely outrageous. I'm not sure how you feel about your postal service worker, but we love ours around here. We even get them Christmas presents as a sign of gratitude for all the amazing things they do. But there's more to the story. The post office is running at a $10 billion a year deficit. There's over 650,000 workers, and this whole situation is not going to be fixed overnight. Let's take a deeper look.
And the Trump administration is looking to take over the U.S. Postal Service. President Trump says he may place the independent mail agency under the Commerce Department and its new leader, Howard Lutnick. Washington Post reports Trump will first dissolve the Postal Service's bipartisan board members. Those board members were reportedly advised to retain outside counsel to fight any executive orders. But the White House has denied it's working on an executive order targeting the Postal Service. Earlier this week, U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy announced his resignation. Last year, DeJoy rolled out a 10-year turnaround plan to stabilize the agency's finances as it struggled from the decline of first-class mail.
Last week, the Washington Post and Wall Street Journal reported that Trump was prepared to issue an executive order to fire the Postal Service Board of Governors. The White House denied the plan, but on Friday, Trump said he was considering merging the post office with the U.S. Commerce Department, a move Democrats said would violate federal law. I'm asking you to stay focused on the job at hand. Don't get distracted by news articles or speculation or rumors, DeJoy said. This is coming from the guy who runs the post office. And let's face it, it's a tough job. Lots of people, I want to say 129 million families inside the United States receive mail Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If you think you have a solution, what is it? I'd be curious to hear in the comments below because this is an incredibly important story. Let's check out a little bit more about this story and maybe the fact that there is some more merit to what Trump's trying to do.
The boss of the U.S. Postal Service has told workers to ignore rumors that Donald Trump could seize control of the agency. In a video seen by Reuters on Thursday, Postmaster General Louis DeJoy says the service was created by law and can only be changed by law. That comes after Trump last week floated the idea of a merger with the Commerce Department.
We want to have a post office that works well and doesn't lose massive amounts of money. And we're thinking about doing that, and it'll be a form of a merger, but it'll remain the Postal Service, and I think it'll operate a lot better than it has been over the years. It's been just a tremendous loser for this country.
Since 1970, the Postal Service has been an independent agency free from direct political control. Now, Democrats argue any move by Trump to seize control would violate federal law.
Now, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said that the post office and his Commerce Department is providing workers to conduct a U.S. census. He's thinking about finding other things that the post office can do besides just delivering mail. Maybe substantiate them, maybe give them more business, maybe break things down to such a point that he's having postal workers go ahead and knock on doors and talk to people, maybe hand deliver the census. Remember, the census is going to be due here in the very near future, but they're really trying to figure out ways to make sure the United States Post Office stays viable. Let's face it, over the past 10, 15 years, between email, between text messaging, many times the services that we used to rely on the post office for is, well, it's just not there anymore. But I will have you know that the average American trusts their postman, they like their post person, and guess what? They see that person as an integral, vital part of the community. I know I do. Make sure you make your comments below. Let's go ahead and cover the next story. Following up on the public relations disaster with Zelensky and Trump meeting, I do want to make sure that we have a couple of key points that are coming out of there. I think Trump is negotiating basically that Ukraine has a way out of this war that they're in, and that is a minerals deal with the United States. The minerals deal in of itself will put U.S. people, contractors on the ground inside the Ukraine, and as a result, the Russians will really think twice about moving any further. We've known that Russia has invaded Ukraine not once, but twice. So there's a vested interest in stopping Russia coming back and trying to go ahead and invade Ukraine all over again, a third time. So there's talk of NATO putting soldiers on the ground inside of Ukraine. There's also talk of just a couple countries putting soldiers on the ground in Ukraine because Ukraine is not a NATO member. But also, I would have you know that maybe Trump is onto something a little bit bigger. The fact is, we do want to stop Russian aggression. Russia is a very sneaky country, and the leadership is always up to something that we see on the surface and also below. For instance, did you know that Russia does not want to see the U.S. as the world's reserve currency anymore? They would love to take away the dollar and replace it with something else because that elevates Russia at the expense of the United States. So stay tuned to this story. More to follow. Hey, it's Brian at 360 Politics. Thanks for joining us today. You are amazing. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I would love to see you in the next video. Make sure they're delivered right to your house every single day. Have a great day.